Welcome back to the second of our OSBA Games of the Week.
Second leg.
I'm Chris McKee, joined by Ryan Greco with a matchup between the Athlete Institute out of Mono, Ontario, and Ridley College. AI comes in 9-2 in third place in the OSBA. Ridley 4-4 in fifth place.
Although it's going to be quite a matchup here. If there is one team that is 4-4, and I have never made it a secret, I am a big fan of Ridley College basketball, and the players that they put out on the floor always seem to be able to kind of run with just about anybody in the league. But for their biggest issue, their biggest challenge has always been shutting the door. So we'll have an opportunity today to see if that's going to be the case. If Ridley College can rise to the occasion right now and get themselves back above 500 after coming up short at our earlier game of the week against Rise Prep.
So on the floor, the starters for Ridley: number 1, Noah Wharton; number 4, Jaden Bediako; number 10, Marcus Upshaw; number 20, Anthony Dowdu; number 22, Malcolm Bailey. On the floor for AI is Luke Ensdort; number 0, number 1, Sam Routens; number 3, Addison Patterson; number 13, Giovanni Scott; number 15, Ben Hendricks.
There's a big block there by Scott on Dowdu.
Scott in the corner with the ball. Lugens Dort out there with a new hairstyle. As Dowdu knocks that one away, AI will have the ball. So it's nice to see Addison Patterson back on the floor. The last couple of games I've done up here in AI, he's been in sweats over on the bench. And he's one of my favorite players in the OSBA, one of the top players in the country. North Pole Hoops has him ranked as the number 1 prospect in Canada.
For the class of 2020, and that is very accurate.
Yeah.
I don't question that at all. He's that kind of talent.
There he is gliding, and he has that one knocked away by Upshaw as Wharton brings the ball up for Ridley.
We also got first time we get a chance to see Sam Routens getting a start here in OSBA Game of the Week.
The best shooter in the league, if you ask me. Absolutely lethal from behind the arc. Sure, he'll put that to display this evening. Upshaw, air ball, ugly fade away.
And I don't think Upshaw was looking for the shot there. I think he was looking for a pass to Dowdu, but just didn't realize.
So Dort, I'm looking at Dort. He looks like a little bulked up, like he's been hitting the gym even harder.
Yeah, he looks very, almost lean.
Took those Christmas holidays to hit the weights. Patterson.
Or maybe some more turkey.
And you know what? That could have been offensive goaltending. Patterson was sort of screaming at Hendricks. That was going in. Hendricks wiped that one away.
Fortunately, but on FIBA, it is a free ball. There's a tough fall there by Wharton, I believe that is.
Sam Routens hammers him. And to be honest with you, if you are going to foul someone, make sure it's worth it.
That was scary.
The little ticky-tacky stuff, I'm not mad at Sam for that.
I'm sure of all people that's kind of that cringed a little bit when they saw that was Upshaw. As you can see, Upshaw, he's got that major knee brace on his right leg. He came back from an injury very similar to kind of what that was there.
So Wharton, 5'10", class of 2019. Also played for Team Ontario in the Canada Summer Games.
He definitely punches above his weight. That's for sure.
No
that's
doubt.
for certain.
Yeah.
You can't. You've got to be special at what you do if you're going to play in this league at the size that he's at.
Loved his game last week down at the Rise Center in Brantford. That was a chippy affair. I wouldn't say a few punches being thrown, but definitely a few shoves and curse words being thrown out there on the court. Routens looking for space, and Hendricks getting called with the moving screen.
Yep, excellent decision there. Keeps the pressure on Ridley, and this is what we talked about. We've got a couple of players now. This is their second year in the OSBA. It is for Upshaw, and it is for Wharton. These are two guys that they've battled Orangeville and AI Prep a number of times. They know what to expect. They know how athletically gifted they are. They know the importance of staying in front of them.
Dowdu, ugly three. Bailey with the rebound, trying to muscle his way in, and throws that one. It's going to be an over and back. It's going to be a turnover on Ridley. So a bit of an ugly possession. Ridley not settled here in the first quarter.
And this is just one thing I think we're starting to notice a pattern from visiting teams when they come and play AI or they come to play Orangeville is just those little mistakes you're seeing off the ball. And, you know, that's not a play that Bailey would make very often. I don't think I've ever seen Malcolm Bailey make a play like that. He's usually a very savvy player. And for him to just kind of throw it away like that it just kind of speaks of nerves, and they've got to get over that.
Settle down. Patterson showing off his ball handling. Routon looking for space. They know you can't give Routons an inch of space. See how tight they're playing them. Patterson. Giovanni Scott. Would have liked seeing Giovanni maybe take that shot right away, but instead muscles it in for the first basket of the game for AI.
That's a tough finish there by Scott, taking the contact and kind of flings it in, but you see the importance of getting the rotation on the ball there. It's just the right amount of flick and drops right in for 2, and that's actually the first 2 points for AI Prep in this game.
7:10 to go in the first quarter as Upshaw misses on the 3. Patterson knocks it out of bounds. He's protesting, but the call's been made, is what it is. It's going to be Ridley ball.
Upshaw, not a bad shot there. He had Dort closing in on him. Able to knock it down as we got ourselves a substitution.
Keyshawn Barthélemy enters the game for the first time. Keyshawn, one of the best young players in the country. Class of 2020. Upshaw, guarded by Routons. Wharton looking for something. Dowdu, Upshaw for 3. And he missed it. Bailey missed an easy lay-in.
You can't afford to miss those shots if you're facing AI Prep. Simple as that. Especially when you consider the fact that Bediako is going to have his hands full the entire night trying to keep Ben Hendricks at bay. You, as Malcolm Bailey, you got to make sure that you're stepping up and finishing those buckets whenever you get a free opportunity to.
2-1. Routons will inbound. 6:47 to go in the first quarter. Neither team got anything going yet. Scott on the baseline. And he just picked up his own. Well, it was Ben Hendricks with a throwdown. But it looked like Scott picked up his own.
Yeah, it did. It looks like the referees are going to just toss that up to a loss of control and then regains it. I wouldn't have called it that, but regardless, it's 2 points for AI Prep.
Bailey with a nice jump shot. Lovely stroke.
There it is. Very confident in that shot. He's done it a number of times. Good steal there.
Noah Wharton picks Lugens Dort's pocket. Can't get it to go. Rebound Ben Hendricks. And a lovely play by Dort. A good hustle back by Bailey to knock that away. Barthélemy spots up short.
Good effort there by both players. Look at that.
And here's Wharton. And has that swatted away. Giovanni Scott, get that out of here.
Giovanni Scott, I'm not going to lie. If you're Wharton, you still, yes, of course, you want to go with what's most comfortable in those quick situations. But if you see Scott's barreling down on you, make sure you're taking away the angle. Finish with your left hand and kiss it right off the glass.
He's got to use his body a little bit better than that. But and I also thought he was a little casual with it,
I mean, I'm picking at straws right now, but yeah, like. But
Scott
really,
showing his athleticism, though.
Yeah, but like that's how you finish those fast breaks when you have a highly athletic guy like Scott coming and bearing down on you. You got to make sure that you can finish comfortably with both hands. He finishes with his left hand there. That's a foul and 1.
You know, I'm looking at Giovanni's do and Dort's do. These are some haircuts these guys are going to regret a few years from now when they look back at the pictures.
Wow.
You know.
You're really going there, Chris. Hey, it was cool at the time. Are you talking? Man,
you should see my high school yearbooks. Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm like, are you inferring that my cornrows were not cool?
Yeah.
Because they were beautiful, okay?
We were all young one day, right?
That's right.
Patterson had run to the dressing room for a moment there and is now sprinting back out to the bench.
Doesn't look like anything serious.
Scott underneath the basket.
Big defensive play there by Bailey. Uh-oh, he's holding his knee. Uh-oh.
And yeah, Bailey's holding his knee and his back.
No. Okay, he says he's fine. I think he just fell hard on the floor there. Yep, he's up. You can't scare us like that, Bailey. You can't be holding your knee when you're on the ground and it's your back that hurts.
So Ridley will just inbound the ball up 5-4. Thanks for joining us on OSBA TV. Wharton Dowdu. Wharton had the look, didn't want it. Dancing around Upshaw. And what's the call? Is it a charge or is it a block? It is. It's an offensive foul on Upshaw. Routens stood his ground.
Excellent decision there by Routens. Catches him just as he understood he was going to attack the basket, just holds himself there, keeps his feet steady, takes the charge. And as a result now, Ridley's going to be back on the defensive. But, you know, credit to both of these teams. Some very impressive defense to start off this game, Chris.
So far, so good. And that's what you wanted out of Ridley. You know, we've seen the first game with Southwest. Got out of hand early in that third quarter and slacking on the defensive end. Dort looking for space. Scott weaving through. And that was Mabeni Nam lost a handle on it.
Excellent.
Noah Wharton with the finish.
There's Wharton. You see, when you can kiss it off the glass like that, it's harder for guys to reach over and try and block it. Oh, Dort, the crossover and the finish, and that's why he's a top 5 recruit.
Absolutely deadly from Lugens Dort, just undressed Ridley College. Lovely finish.
There you go, find it.
Fighting underneath the basketball like a hot potato. Possession arrow will favor Athlete Institute.
Fun fact here is Bailey coming down with that rebound. You can see that athleticism. And a lot of people, you know, there's a certain awkwardness to the way that he plays, and there's a reason for that. It is because he's also a very, very, very well-renowned soccer player.
Oh, really?
Yes, he is. He's one of the most athletic guys, and that's one thing that I always notice with soccer players, that they always have an incredible ability to just never get tired, right? And if you watch Bailey throughout this game, he's not going to get tired. You'll see him jumping up and down like that the entire game. It's why he's averaging some of the highest amount of rebounds in the entire OSBA.
Lugens Dort hits a 3 there. Starting to warm up. Kicks outside, Wharton. In and out, unlucky, but a nice putback by Dowdu.
And something we're noticing here that Ridley College has on AI Prep with this certain lineup right now is that they've got the size in the front court. We're seeing now 3 times, 3 separate possessions, they're finishing and getting their offensive boards. And there's another defensive board there by Bailey.
You see that explosiveness by Keyshawn Bartholomew, even though he missed there. Bediaku with the turnaround. Nice finish from Jaden Bediaku.
That's something that you want to see more from him, getting that soft touch. You know, we know how big and strong he is when he's attacking the basket, but it was that mid-range that a lot of scouts are talking about he needs to develop to be a real force at the next level.
Routens misses his first 3 attempt. Ridley with a loose ball. Wide open look for Wharton. He takes it. Noah Wharton, nothing but nets.
And that's it. Ridley College, a very good timeout here by Coach Charles. Needs his boys to refocus here as Ridley College. That lineup is working well for them. Just as we were saying before, very long and athletic front court there by Ridley College, and as a result, they're getting opportunities to deflect shots that are going up. They're getting their offensive boards and putbacks, which allows their shooters to stay a little bit more comfortable from behind the arc because they know that they're going to get a second and third chance possibly. And when you're able to do that, all those things working at the same time, not to mention the hustle and defense that we've seen from this team so far, they could be in for a very, very fun night.
I hope so. You know, the first game was a little one-sided, and I had a feeling coming up that this one would be a little bit more tightly contested. You know, having a good look at Ridley last week, came away really impressed. It's a young team, but they've got some real players on there, and so I thought, just looking on paper, thought they're going to give AI a pretty good game.
Well said. And I think the biggest factor has been, you know, we discussed this off the air before we went on, was just, will fatigue play a factor with this Ridley College team? They only have, at this moment, they only have 3 players coming off of the bench. You know, we had a chance to talk to Bet, one of the point guards right now, who hurt his hand. He's out for a few weeks, saying, you know, we know we can run with these guys. We know we have the capabilities. It's just a matter of making sure that we're both playing within ourselves and making sure we're taking care of the basketball, not draining any unnecessary energy, because these guys can run it better than just about anybody in Canada and with some of the very best in the United States.
Back to the action in the first quarter. Ridley leads 14-9. Just over 3 minutes to go in the first half as Lugens Dort passes it off to Addison Patterson. He's directing traffic as Kobe Lamb is on the floor for the first time for AI tonight, number 11.
This will be the big test now. They've got Patterson and Hendricks back on the floor. And
Keyshawn Barthélemy.
And as I say, Barthélemy saying, what about me?
With a bomb. Watch Keyshawn out in the warm-ups. Last player on the floor, taking his shots. And that was too hot for Charles Bediako as he's on the floor for the first time tonight, number 23.
And that's one thing, Bediako, he's going to have to learn to be able to explode off of that screen. There, he's kind of hesitating a little bit and kind of jogging to the rim. He's got to be able to explode to receive that pass on target.
Addison Patterson.
Oh, nice steal there.
You can hear the smack on the hand. Here's Wharton, and he learned his lesson from the Giovanni Scott block. Keyshawn raced back, tried to block it. Lamb, Patterson, Keyshawn. Patterson is yet to get going in the contest. Directing traffic, weaving through, dishes to Hendricks, and Ben stumbles, no call. Dort now for three, it's gonna be short. Hendricks with the putback in the slam.
And that comes down to everybody having to make sure. See, once again, guys making assumptions. Just because the shot clock rang off doesn't mean you stop playing defense. You got to find the next man and box him out. Hendricks doing an excellent job recognizing that and finishing on the offensive glass.
Wharton responds with an air ball. And then what's blocking foul? That's a good call. He did get in the way.
Yep.
But a senseless foul by Wharton.
Wharton trying to go for a charge there, but once Dort had already been up in the air, there was really nowhere else for him to go. You can't necessarily call that a charge.
So AI finally starting to settle down. Guys making shots, making big plays.
I like this substitution here by Coach Upshaw, just simply for the fact that his bigs need to get their rest. The guys that are going to be making the major minutes. Now it's up to your bench to hold on for the next minute 30 and not allow AI Prep to get on a run with their starters.
Alex Root and Tommy Johnson seeing their first action for Ridley as Patterson drives and gets off the glass. Nice basket from Addison.
Yeah, Bediako's got to make sure he can rotate quickly over and prevent Patterson from getting that close to the rim, because if he doesn't, Patterson's going to finish every time.
Wharton, AI looking a bit more lively, a bit more hop in their step as Dort strips that one from Wharton, and it's going to be a turnover AI ball.
And that one went off the leg there of off of Upshaw.
So Johnson, his time on the floor is very quick as Jaden Bediako back on the floor, just needed a quick blow.
Well, if you can't rotate quick enough on defense, that's what's going to happen to you. So,
and an elbow call, the moving screens are on Hendricks, and I agree with that call. He didn't, I mean, Ben's what, 6'10", 6'11"?
That's right.
He's already going to get in the way of Wharton. No need to make himself that much bigger.
Nope. Especially if Patterson can curl off of that screen properly with a little bit of contact. It's something I notice a lot of guys don't do as much as they really should, is because when you've actually brushed off your own man, it's impossible for the other guy to get around that screen. They have to make the switch.
So Hendricks heads to the bench. Mabeni Nam back on the floor for AI, number 6. 42 seconds to go in the half, and there's a steal, and here's Kobe Lamb. Easy lay-in, and he missed it. Come on, Kobe.
That's a rare miss from Kobe.
Jeez.
Trust me, that is one of the best mid-range shooters you will ever see, but just can't get it done with the layup there.
Little too cash. Nice. Charles Bediako's fouled by Lamb on a defensive end.
Great cut by Bediako that time, sees that he's there. One thing I'd like to see, though, he's got to be able to just explode a little bit quicker. But you know what? To be fair, he's still a fairly young guy, and he's just at this point trying to get his body to catch up to the rest of him. And what we're going to see in a few years from that is going to be an absolute tomahawk dunk.
Yeah. So Dort takes a breather. Giovanni Scott back on the floor for AI. Charles Bediako. Charles plays for the U16 Canada team, class of 2021.
That's right. Last year played, I believe, for St. Marcellinus.
You got to throw that. I mean, I'm going to start throwing my high schools in here.
I don't listen.
Yeah.
I'm actually not a fan of St. Marcellinus. I'm a St. Joseph's coach. So trust me, there is no brotherly love there for that school. But
the broadcast is too Mississauga slanted. I got to put some East End love in here.
Fair enough. Big block. Speaking of Bediako, doing us proud.
Swats that one away from Nam.
All right. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Scarborough man's got to get in here.
I was going to say, well, we got Jaden Finch on the floor with Giovanni Scott, so.
Is he up top,
that's
as
right.
they call it. Yeah. And there's an alley-oop attempt, a bit ambitious from Keyshawn Barthélemy.
Over to Kobe Lamb, of all people, too. Trying to do an alley-oop over top of the tallest kid on the floor. Yeah. For a kid who just missed the layup. I understand, though, get his confidence going again, maybe, a highlight reel situation, but I don't know about that one. I don't think that was drawn up for Kobe Lamb.
No. So a bit of a surprise in the first quarter. Ridley College, 18-16 leaders. They've come out. I mean, both teams, we talked about Ridley looking unsettled first. AI looked really unsettled for the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and you know what? That's been a huge factor in this one and a big reason why Ridley has the lead right now. There was that little run they went on there where they, 3 or 4 possessions where they just kept getting offensive boards, kept finishing under the rim. Simply put, Chris, they were outworking them.
One thing I'll notice is, being involved in other sports, I've played football, I've coached football at a pretty good level, played hockey at a pretty good level, soccer, and now I'm, doing volleyball, the broadcast for Queen's University, and I've been involved in volleyball at a collegiate level for the past 3 years. One thing I noticed from both AI and Orangeville is they don't warm up intensely enough. I've watched Queen's University, McMaster, some of the top programs in the country, and these guys, when they get out there, both the men and women, when that first play happens, that sweat you would have, mid-second quarter, that's what they have from moment one. And I just think when you're a little casual in your warm-up, you got to get that sweat going a little earlier because you see it's taking a while to get ready.
I think you have a valid point there because when you take in consideration of the fact that, yes, the other side of that argument is both of these teams, they have such a long schedule and they play so often and they play so hard that sometimes it's not the best idea to get that sweat going. But you know what? That's what the bench is for. That's what your reserve guys are for. And if you have reserve guys that aren't able to go in there and take care of things, well, then that's a you problem. But, to your point, it's true. You see a lot of these guys up here, and they're still warming up like they're already in the NBA in a sense. Yeah. And sometimes, it's a reason why you see a lot of these shots getting missed. And you don't see the real impressive highlights start happening until the second half.
They got to get out the gate quicker.
They're young. They have the legs.
Bailey with a 3 getting out the gate in the second quarter for Ridley.
Getting it warmed up. He's got a nice smooth stroke for a guy his size, no doubt.
He looks a lot more impressive tonight. Not that he didn't look unimpressive the other night, but he looks like he's come to play tonight.
And it looks like someone's hurt, and that's they're going to need a substitution here. That is Charles Bediako, who rolled his ankle, it looks like. And that is the last thing that this Ridley College team needs is another guy who's gone down. They now have 2 guys ready to go off of this bench.
Yeah, that's a good thing. He was about to sit down. I'm like, when you roll the ankle, don't sit. You got to keep walking on it. Now he's sitting down because it freezes up. You got to keep the movement in it. Dowdu, and there's Dort with the steal, but a little bit too much on it, goes out of bounds. It's going to be Ridley ball.
That's the second time. That's something both of these AI teams are very good at, is just reading the pass on the perimeter and just cutting out because they have the athleticism to do it. And then just finishing with a tomahawk monster dunk at some point. It's just it's almost become a signature of what they do.
So here we go. Keyshawn's going to press Wharton. Keyshawn staying with him, and Mabeni Nam knocks that out of bounds. Nice play from the big man.
And you see it went off of Wharton's leg there. And you know what? It's funny because a lot of those plays they go against the defense. But even though we both know it clearly went off his leg, but the referee will call it anyway sometimes. Yeah. I'm happy to see, as frustrated as Wharton is, though, he doesn't have a leg to stand on, no pun intended.
Pun intended. As Scott weaves through lovely basket by Giovanni.
There's Giovanni Scott. He's one of the more awkward players that I think I've ever seen. But the way that he finds the basket, the way that he kind of knocks down these shots, he's one of the funnest people to watch play basketball when he's having a good time.
He reminds me of a guy that used to play for UConn, Donyell Marshall. In the NBA. He's just got a similar frame, a similar kind of game. I mean, Marshall wasn't this highlight reel guy.
Nope.
But he just did every little thing right, and at the end of the game, you'd look up and he'd have 22 points and 8 rebounds. And you're like, well, how did he do that?
Yeah, it's true.
Barthélemy for 3 in and out. And Jaden Bediako with the rebounds. Bailey for Wharton. Foul off the ball on Bediako, excuse me. Looks like he was getting a little bit too amorous with Lugens Dort.
It's what he does. When you got a classic post player like Bediako, and that's the thing you kind of worry about. It's like eventually when fatigue starts taking a hold, the elbows start coming out a little bit more aggressively.
One of the downfalls of AI is they have so many guys. Is Scott slashing to the basket, has that blocked by Jaden. And now Giovanni picks up his foul, wants to get in his face. I've been seeing the two of them jawing at each other for the past few possessions.
I don't blame him, though. I mean, this is one of those situations here where it was clean, intense basketball until the very end there. You could see Scott got his hand right in between the glasses of Bediako as he was going back up.
You know what? I mean, I don't see Giovanni get that animated too often. He's frustrated that Jaden's getting the better of him.
It's just one of those situations that happens sometimes. But at the end of the day, Bediako, this is, BioSteel All-Canadian, guy who's, been a fixture on the national team at every age level he's played at. He's a very decorated player, so it's not like he's going to be somebody that Scott can just push around or bully like he kind of is used to doing in a lot of these games throughout his career.
Good call. Dowdu slashes, has that blocked by Lamb, and Nam looked like the last one to touch it. Unlucky Ridley is what it is. AI ball. Nam will inbounds. Ridley still leads 21-18. Barthélemy with Dort. And Dort drives, can't get the roll. Nam has got to put that back, and he traveled. Good call.
And who's right there? It's Bediako that's holding the fort, defending that paint. You just got to feel for the guy, though, is say, how long can he do this for an entire 40-minute game?
One of the things before I got interrupted with the play on the other end was saying AI, sometimes maybe they got too many cooks in the kitchen. Right now, everyone's trying to spread it around. Lovely feed inside to Dowdu, and he draws the contact from Nam to go to the line. But, this is the kind of game where things are unsettled. Okay, Patterson's got to step up. One of the guys, or Dort, one of them, they're all looking at each other going, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?
It's interesting you said that because going back to the conversation I had with both, Coach Upshaw, and I also had a different conversation with Bet, and they both actually said the same thing when it came to facing AI prep. They said they're going to play a lot of one-on-one. They're going to play a lot of moments where they know that they have the talent to score from 1 through 5. So what they're going to do is they're going to isolate a lot. You're going to see the ball occasionally move when the moments are right, but overall it's just going to be one guy trying to take on the whole team. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And because of that, there's going to be and because of that right now, sometimes it just doesn't work, especially when you have a team like Ridley College who has the front court that they have, the ability to protect the rim the way that they do. And when you also consider the fact that the referees in this moment, in this case right now, for the most part have been kind of swallowing the whistle, you're going to have some very tough runs up and down the floor against a team like Ridley College.
Sam Routens enters the game in place of Keyshawn Barthélemy. He's over getting a quick drink of water. And so here's the point in the game in games that I've done in recent memory where Routens comes in and just starts shooting.
And I have no doubt in my mind here, this is going to be Addison Patterson running the offense here and trying to get some open looks for his shooters in Lamb and Routens.
Guy wearing number 0 is pretty good at shooting as well, Lugens Dort.
Yeah, but he's good at a lot of other things too, so I got to give some other guys something.
Kobe Lamb for 3, short. Bediako with the rebound again.
There's Lamb. Unfortunately, you got to, as you see, Lamb was trying to hope for the
Wharton for 3, short. Bediako on the offensive and got hammered by Nam. Got away with one. Patterson racing down the floor. Here it is with the scoop. Lovely finish.
That was pretty.
Patterson.
That was pretty. I'm a fan of that one. Going out far away. It's hard for anyone to come up and try and block you when you've created that distance. It's an unsung move, but I'm actually a huge fan of that move.
I said a few weeks ago, he kind of skates through the floor and glides.
Yep.
And there he's fouled by Bediako and goes down hard, but looks like he's going to be fine. But he's got that gift where there's very few guys who have it when they jump it's almost like he elevates midair to another level.
Yeah. I think that's a very accurate way of putting it. And even, he's just got a nose for the rim. Like you see, perfect timing of 2 defenders on him, just gets that spin move in. And, you give it a little bit more time and a little bit more training, he's going to be able to do that as a spin move in mid-dribble and then continue his dribble to finish at the rim. That's going to be the next step for him in that development.
Look, I know he's a long way away from this, but there was a guy who wore number 15 for the Raptors a few years ago that had that same kind of thing. When he jumped midair, he had that elevation. He's got a few years to go, but
you know what, though? Yeah. He keeps going the way that he's going. I wouldn't put it past him at all.
Short on that. Johnson swatted away Lugens Dort. And then Lamb is flipped midair. Bailey puts that one away. How is there no call there on something?
A very physical game so far. And here's Dort going to the basket, trying to find an open man. Misses it, but here's Routens.
Nam playing hot potato with it. And looks like he's going to be fouled, or 3 in the key on Nam.
And unfortunately, Nam just looks like he's a step behind the rest of his teammates there on those. But it's not, you know what, it's a thankless job down there. It becomes obvious when you make mistakes, but nobody ever really seems to notice when you do the right things, like proper box out or a nice post move or the proper pass. It's like I said, I tell my players all the time, the post is a thankless job, but it's the most important one.
Patterson steals that one, creeps in over the back. Wisely holds up. He's taking this all the way. Foul on the floor, looks like on 20, Dowdu.
You see when Patterson's bringing the ball up here, that was one of the plans of this team, hoping to see if they could try and get some open looks from the three-point line, but it seems like that plan has diverted into attacking the rim and trying to see if they can get some of these bigs in foul trouble.
Dort for 3, short. Wharton with the rebounds. Nobody with him in black, so he holds it up.
Once again, though, you see always heads up, always calculating, always looking to see the open man.
Bailey, Upshaw, the coach's son.
You just always got to sneak that in there every time.
Baseline jumper, Bailey with the putback. Nice finish.
There it is, Bailey. Once again, you're not going to see him get tired. He could play all 40 minutes.
Patterson has that knocked away by Johnson. A little too cute. He had Routen spotted up in the corner wide open, didn't see him. And there's a nice finish from Upshaw.
There you go. 29-22, don't look now. But Ridley College, they got to keep playing, though. They can't take a possession off. They understand the importance of trying to close out these games.
Patterson, guarded by Dowdu. Looking for space. Dort, there it is. Lugens Dort.
That's just skill. There's not much you can do against that. Ridley defense did everything they could, but Dort with the better offensive move finishing, and that's why he's one of the top recruits in all of high school basketball, period.
Wharton picks up the loose ball. Upshaw from the free throw line. Too strong. Rebound Nam.
Not a fan of that shot. Could have found something better.
Routen spots up for 3. Sam Routens, there it is. Can't give him any space.
There it is, Routens. I'm sure he had a quick conversation with Patterson in the last whistle saying, hey, man, I'm open. You got to find me. I can knock these down for you. Makes Patterson's life a little bit easier.
Wharton weaving through traffic, has that stolen by Dort. And here we go. He's taking it all himself. Lugens Dort, and he's fouled by Upshaw.
And you can see this is one of those situations now, Chris, where you're starting to see the fact that there really is no one else to come in and run the offense. The fatigue is starting to set in a little bit for Wharton. You got to remember, as a 5'10" guy, he's got a lot more ground to cover than some of these guys like Patterson at 6'7". So when you or Dort at 6'3" to 6'5", I mean, it's a tough job to try and weave through these guys constantly, making sure you're taking care of the basketball. And the last 2 possessions, we've now seen the result of the fatigue kind of kicking in a little bit here.
Dort converts the 3-point play, and AI finally has a lead at 30-29.
I think that has everything to do with, when your brain is not getting enough oxygen. It's hard to make those tough calls and passes and see the lanes the way that Wharton has been seeing them throughout most of this game.
Upshaw, long 3, short. Good hustle from Dowdu to get in there. And Ben Hendricks, it was way out of bounds. Charles Hantamakis not too happy with it. And we got a timeout on the floor.
Be a timeout. That's a smart timeout, though. Ridley College catching a break. Time to go in. All the starters better make sure they're sitting down and catching a breath right now, because this final 3 minutes, this is going to be a rough ride for Ridley. They got to just make sure that they can hang on in this one.
So if you're out there in Twitter world, don't forget to drop Ryan and I online on Twitter. Ryan's Twitter is Ryan Greco 416. Mine is at Mr. McKee, MRMCKEE. You can check out my list of the top 15 Canadians playing mid-major basketball in the U.S. Wrote it for Mid-Major Madness for SB Nation last week. And all the schools have been tweeting it out. I've seen Southern Utah tweet it out today. I put Jaden Cohey, number 4, on the list of the top 15. I had Malcolm DeVivier, number 1, plays for Akron, and was a 3-year player for Oregon State, grad transfer, and is now tearing up the MAC for Akron. Heck of a player. So take a read of that. Also got some highlights on my YouTube channel. Just type in Chris McKee, and you'll see a whole bunch of AI players, the Rise players, you name it. There's stuff on there.
And if you guys want to find out any new news on OSBA or their teams or the teams you're watching right now, you can check out AI Prep at AI_PREP. And for Ridley basketball, it's at Ridley_hoops. And of course, at Ontario SBA for the league Twitter handle.
Done now. Yeah.
Mans need to know.
Yeah.
Mans need to know, dog.
Back to the action. Long 3 from Wharton. Short. Hendricks
not a fan of that.
With the rebounds.
I'm sorry, Chris, but you can't come out of a timeout and just take one shot and there's still 20 seconds left on the shot clock. That's a desperation 3 that you don't need. Set something up, play right.
Keyshawn Barthélemy out there. Sam Roughton spots up, quick trigger. There it is, Sam Roughton's again.
And starting to catch fire. And as you can see also, we forgot to mention Charles Bediako back on the floor. A huge gain for Ridley College here, as it looks like his ankle's okay.
Dowdu inside to Bailey.
Yep.
There's that jump shot again, misses this time. Roughton's now pushes the ball up the floor to Dort as he accelerates.
Oh, wow.
Can't get that to go. Charles Bediako picks up the rebound. Wharton kicks outside wide open for Upshaw. Short. Bailey with the rebound.
Bailey, how many offensive boards does he have in this game now, Chris? I told you. Watch out for this kid.
He's a completely different player tonight than he was last Thursday.
Yep.
Wharton looking for space. Up shot. Shot clock winding down. Dort steals it. He's got Barthélemy wide open. Here's Keyshawn with the pump dunk.
See, he gets up. That kid is tall, and unfortunately that was a tough turn of events. Quick 6-point swing here. And that was a 6-point lead for AI. Nice find there.
Thought he was fouled. And Bailey hammered by Hendricks.
That was
no
a foul.
Call. And there's a throwdown. Charles Bediako.
You have to. You have to. It's Bediako sticking up for his teammate there after getting constantly hammered. Steps up and throws it down. But we've seen it on both sides. So you know what? For one thing, if anything is clear here, we're seeing consistency, at least from the referees on the calls.
Let them play. I'd rather that than every little ticky-tacky foul called.
No, it's true. You know,
as long as they're consistent with it at both ends, that's okay.
That's all you can ask for. But as far as this game now, I mean, that was a big dunk for Ridley, and they need to make sure that they can do everything they can to try and keep themselves in this game. And I know that, it's a 4-point game, Ryan. What are you talking about? Well, you also have to look at the bigger picture and optics of all of this. Ridley College, they've never defeated AI, first of all. Second of all, you've got an opportunity to make a huge statement for yourself by going up 5-4, so you're moving up in the standings a little bit. And then to top it all off, you're handing this team only I believe in OSBA action, this would only be their 6th loss since the beginning of the Ontario SBA period.
What is that?
And that's including
5
playoffs.
years?
Yeah, we're talking about 3. No, we're talking. This is the 3rd season, the 3rd official season that we've done OSBA.
All right.
And this would only be AI Prep, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but I believe it would only be their 6th or 5th loss in league play if they're able to pull off a win today.
Jamal Murray would have been on the 2016 team with
Murray wasn't on that. Murray didn't play.
That wasn't OSBA?
People don't realize. Yeah, Murray never played in the OSBA.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That was before when Orangeville Prep had their own personal schedule.
That's why that's
Yep,
where I
they
was
had
a
their
little
own. They had their own
confused.
schedule.
Patterson.
They were a travel team in every sense of the word.
Keyshawn explodes to the basket, uses his body nice, can't get it to go. Rebound, Dowdu. Wharton brings the ball up for Ridley.
How valuable are guys like Dowdu and Bailey right now on the offensive glass? They've got to keep bringing it.
Bailey, I'm going to say a different guy, different player tonight.
Nice save.
Unbelievable. Well, you know, one thing that concerns me, though, Wharton drives and has it blocked, and Hendrick's going to be called with a foul. But if Bailey has what I'm seeing out of him tonight in him, he's got to be a little more consistent in showing that.
He does, and when you also consider, you know, he's a forward. He's a power forward. He really is. The way that he plays, the physicality he plays with, he's a very up-down kind of vertical player. You don't really see him trying to break down defenders, but you know he knows what he is, and I think that's the most important thing about him. A difference between a guy like him and somebody who may be of similar size and athletic ability. He knows what he is. He knows what he likes to do. You're seeing that he's kind of stepping out and taking shots, but he's also not afraid to go and mix it in and finish off the rebound. But you won't see him with much behind the basket play or play up at the perimeter. So that is kind of what's limiting about him, but when it comes to this dynamic on this chemistry with this team, he's invaluable in that sense.
Routens again. Oh, my goodness. Sam Roughton throwing flames. 38-33.
Routens, he's proven you to be a genius here, Chris.
I told you, he's the best shooter in the OSBA, if not the country, for this age group. There's Bailey underneath. You remember that catch and shoot? Well, hey, it worked out, Alex Root.
Yeah,
but that catch and shoot that Kennedy was doing, we'd like seeing that out of Bailey right there.
Absolutely.
Roughton's feeling it. Why not? Oh.
But who's there for the board?
Keyshawn Barthélemy, 8 seconds to go. Looking for space. He's got Kobe Lamb. Shot clock's at 2. Short. And then there's the end of the half. So that was a pretty good first quarter, a little eventful. 38-35, AI with the lead over Ridley College. Thoughts on the first?
If you got to be Ridley College, you got to love the situation you're in right now. Despite the fact that you haven't played your best basketball yet, you're outworking your opponents. You're only down by 3. A couple more made threes, and they're in this. I mean, keep in mind, they have not necessarily been shooting the ball very well in the final 5 or 6 minutes of there. So they took some of the best hits that AI Prep had to give them, who's now starting to heat up from behind the arc. They got to keep the intensity, though, and dominate the boards. If they can dominate the boards and give themselves second and third chances, they can also give themselves a chance to win in this one.
So we're going to take a little bit of a breather. I'm Chris McKee, joined by Ryan Greco. We're going to take 10 minutes, and we'll see you after the break. Back to the action in the second half. Easy for me to say. So AI with a 38-35 lead. Sam Routon's leading the charge in the second quarter with a couple threes. So on the floor right now for AI, Luke Gensdorf, Sam Routens, Giovanni Scott, Addison Patterson, Ben Hendricks. For Ridley, Dowdu Bailey, Upshaw Wharton, and Jaden Bediako. Patterson slashes through, can't get it to go. Dishes inside to Hendricks. Hendricks, ball just does not want to go in. Dowden with the rebound. I'm Chris McKee, joined by Ryan Greco in the booth. OSBA Game of the Week.
Dowdu not doing a very good job there, Chris, of protecting the ball, going to the rim there. He had almost like the Red Sea had parted there for him, but because he was bringing that ball left to right, the defenders were able to kind of reach in and take it off him.
So Lugens Dort made a few plays, but has yet to really get going. Scott thought about it. Dort, everyone's thinking too hard about it. Dort kicks inside to Hendricks. Patterson, skyhook, gets it to go. Addison Patterson.
Nice shot there by Patterson. He had the option of Scott up at the top for the open three, but chose, you know what, I'm this close to the basket. I might as well work on the inside game a little bit and get that shot off.
40-35. AI out in front. Upshaw looking for space. So we didn't get the chance to talk about Brzdikis from Orangeville Prep. What was it, 39 points, 6 steals in the first game?
That's right.
And he only played three quarters, really.
No, yeah, I mean, that's kind of just his thing now, what he does. You know, it almost begs the question at this point, you know, maybe he could have been a productive player already with Michigan this year as opposed to waiting till next year. But regardless, putting up some very impressive numbers. As you can see, Coach Upshaw now talking to one of the referees about something. They're just getting some stuff cleared up.
Not sure what, but either way. Wharton inbounds on the baseline. Upshaw, shot clock at 5. He's got to take it. Upshaw has that blocked by Dort.
It's a bad possession, but they get lucky. Look. Acting like a coach right now.
Wharton airballs, ugly.
You can see Coach Upshaw, he's not happy with him because he saw what I saw there. He saw Bailey wide open underneath the basket. And yes, I understand you got a bigger man there, but Bailey also has to make it known of, you know, where he exactly wants the ball to get by that defender so we can get the easy layup. But everyone was kind of caught napping on that one.
Routens to Patterson. Patterson's MO tonight, he hasn't been taking threes. He's been attacking the basket every time. He passed up an open look on a 3 there. Scott, what's the call?
And Chris, real quick, I think that's a testament to the defense that Ridley College has put up at this point. They've been closing him out extremely well. And when you've got guys like Dowdu and Bailey and Bediako, these are all really long-armed guys. So whenever Patterson is kind of off on those wings, one of them does a great job of closing him out, forcing him to attack the basket. You got Dowdu on him right now, for example. He can close out.
Patterson. Routens for 3. Off the back of the rim.
Good fight there.
Wharton. Scott snips that out. It's a 3-on-1. Good foul. And why not use one of your teammates, Giovanni?
Well, you could just see right in that moment. It's to be honest, I think I'd be just as angry if he tried to pass it off. I mean, it's a guy who's, you know, you got almost a full foot in height on him and a few extra pounds. You know, why not go there and try and finish, right? Especially if you already have picked up your dribble.
So there's Bediako and Scott pushing again after the whistle. Jaden gives him a little shoulder, and Giovanni turns around. So that battle has not been diffused. I expect that to continue further this evening.
No, definitely not. But I think so far, you know, one thing we're kind of noticing right now is neither team seems to kind of know what they want to do with the basketball on the offensive end. A lot of the points have been coming off of steals and turnovers and fast break layups, but this has not been a half-court lover's dream, that's for certain.
Big tune.
Well, it is old school night.
I just got caught by the lady in the front row vibing out to the reggae. She was looking at me, yeah.
Yeah, it's all in good love.
Whenever the reggae comes on, you can't help but move.
No, you can't. And of course, that's DJ Phenomenal that's working the ones and twos.
Bit of Bob Marley, Is This Love remix.
Yep.
Favorite Bob Marley song, Ryan?
Oh, man. Which I would have to say One Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would either be One Love or I Shot the Sheriff.
Waiting in Vain. Or what's that one? Don't let them fool ya.
Oh,
or even try to school ya.
Oh, yeah. Could You Be Loved?
That's the yeah. That opening riff, that ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
that gets me going every time.
Scott, no good on that one. There's Bailey with, I'm sure, has got to be at least his 9th rebound by now. He knocks down a couple shots. He's a double-double machine, though.
Wharton guarded by Routens. Upshaw. Dowdu. Bailey from the baseline. Nice finish, Malcolm Bailey.
Now I got something for you, Chris. Now you see how active Bailey's been on the boards and how active he's been on the offensive sets. Does he look like he has a single drop of sweat on him?
No, he's cool as a cucumber. It looks like he could throw on a suit and tie right after this and go to work. Scott drives, and there's Bediako hammering again. But Giovanni gets that one to go, and he's looking to stare down Jaden, but he won't look back at him.
And Jaden knows that was one of those situations as Bediako just tries to separate himself from the rest of his team there. And now it's going to be Charles Bediako that's going to come in.
Can't get that to go. Bailey with another rebound.
That's right. Almost the exact same play. Only difference is the ball rimmed off to the right instead of the left.
Wharton looking for space. Nothing there. Dowdu from the corner. Nothing but net.
That is a tough shot. This guy got it. He got his right foot still pointed at Wharton when he let that shot go. The importance of keeping your shoulders square to the basket, kids. That's it right there.
Another guy that's playing out of his skin tonight, Dowdu. Scott muscling his way in, switches to his left hand. Nice finish from Giovanni.
And Scott lets him know about it now that Bediako is kind of out of this game.
And there's Scott bumping Bailey. Scott's determined to get somebody going tonight.
Yep.
Dowdu steps back.
He should have attacked the basket there. Oh, nice take to the basket there by Wharton.
Nice scoop off the glass. Lovely.
Here's Dort, though, in
Routens.
attack mode.
Sam Routens cooled off a bit in the third quarter. Patterson drives. Lovely finish from Addison.
That's the problem when you've got, you can't give up second chance opportunities to AI Prep. There's just too many offensive weapons on this team. You will give up a basket if you do that. And, we noticed whenever they weren't giving up second chance opportunities and protecting the paint, that's when they started taking the lead.
Wharton guarded by Routens. Upshot, quick three.
Once again,
Hendricks with the rebound.
That's one pass and a shot at the top of the key that hasn't worked all night. They're hoping at some point it might, but I doubt it will.
Patterson finds Routen, throws it again. Sam, there it is, finally gets one.
There it is. There's the difference maker, though. Routen's not bringing the ball up necessarily, passing it off, finding his spot to take the shot. Whereas you're seeing some of the shooters over here on Ridley, they just look a little hurried every single time they're going up for those threes.
I just love how fearless Sam is. He's missed his last 2 attempts. Doesn't phase him. As soon as he gets it, shooting again.
And that was a great pass, but Bailey not having the hands ready, bounces out. But Ridley gets away with one.
Sam a little careless with the pass, tried to be too cute with it. Upshot for 3, there it is.
Great shot there by Upshaw. Dowdu bails out his teammate Dowdu, who had an open look at Bailey for an open jam had he been able to get the ball to him. But 3 is better than 2, isn't it?
50-45, 4:15 to go in the third quarter. We got a ball game. OSBA game of the week. And there's Scott. He's hammered. It looks like Upshaw's going to be called with it. No, 23. That's Charles Bediako. And Dowdou's limping a bit over there. You can see him kind of skipping off. I noticed it after he hit that big three over in the corner, and you can see him kind of skipping there.
Yeah, I think maybe something else happened to kind of aggravate a little bit more. But, that's been the story for the Tigers this whole season. Has just been injury after injury.
I noticed that. Yeah, I think maybe when he hit that shot, that three, he may have landed a little awkward and.
Yeah, I think actually know what I think he's looking at it right now. It looks like it's his calf muscle, actually, his left calf muscle.
Maybe he needs some hot yoga with McKee. Build up those calf muscles.
McKee's hot yoga. And there's Scott with the steal, and Scott's starting to have some fun with it now.
Giovanni Scott, wow. He should play a little bit more inspired more often.
He's getting it done right now for AI. Playing some bully ball right now.
Wharton weaving through traffic. Root. Alex Root now getting into the action.
That was a big bucket for them. See if they can try and find him again. We want to see a little bit less dribbling, a little bit more passing from this Ridley College team. Just seems like a lot of guys are getting caught looking around now at this point.
Keyshawn Patterson again committed to driving. Dort for three. Lugens Dort. There it is.
There's Dort. That's one thing about Dort is that a lot of guys don't expect him to be able to knock down that shot. And so whenever he gets an open look at it, it's just very clean, very smooth. No one ever really seems to rush his shot.
Root hit the three last time down. Hasn't seen much action. But then when he gets in, not afraid to shoot. Upshot for three.
Once again, that's another situation. Great effort by Bailey on the rebound. But take your time on the shots. There's another one. No.
And here's a highlight reel coming from Lugens Dort. Easy throwdown.
That happened again when you start gambling with those little skip passes around. You just can't do it with the athleticism on this backcourt of AI Prep.
Wharton, Upshaw. He's had the quick trigger. Patterson with the rebound. 11-point game, largest lead of the game for AI.
That's got to be demoralizing if you're a Ridley. There's going to be an out of bounds, but once again, the basketball gods are smiling upon them, giving them chance after chance to kind of get another possession to try and cut into this lead a little bit.
Ref right there for the call. Patterson, a little too cash. Wharton guarded by Barthélemy. Upshaw has been shooting the last three possessions, can't get one to go. Patterson slashing through off the glass. And he goes crashing to the ground.
It's true.
Upshaw, why not? That's 0 for 4. I think they got to find a different offensive weapon here.
That's going to be white ball there.
I just don't understand the shot selection.
I don't mind him taking those shots and just trying to shoot out of it. It's just kind of the way that he's doing it. Plus also, you got a guy who literally just knocked one down not too long ago, and you're not even trying to find him or get him an open look off a screen. And Root right there taking a tough shot as Dort knocks another one down. But really, that kind of bothers me. When I see, a guy who proved he could knock down a shot, find him on an open thing. Don't just give it off to him at the last second because you couldn't find the shot.
Johnson is fouled. That's John Dwall seeing his first action, number 32. I love that from Dort in that last three there. Like, he makes that last dunk on the previous possession, and there he was, waving for it. I want this. Second he gets it.
Knocks it down. Yep.
Confidence.
Very confident. Very confident player. Of course, a bow steal, all Canadian MVP last year.
Any idea on the date of that game this year?
Late April.
No?
April. Usually it's the weekend of April 19th or 20th.
Enjoyed my time down there last year covering it.
Always a fun time.
DeMar DeRozan hanging out. Marcus Stroman from the Blue Jays.
Jamal Murray was there. Made an
was
appearance.
He really? I didn't see him. But
He was sitting around. He was floating around.
Kobe Lamb finally gets one to go. Kobe Lamb had a bit of a tough first half. 48 seconds to go in the third quarter. Alex Root, Tommy Johnson, using that big frame, trying to back down Dwall. He took about 19 steps.
You could see after that third spin, there was nowhere to go. But once again, though, where's the rest of his teammates? Everyone just kind of standing there, expecting him to find them instead of calling out, moving around, screening. I mean, at that point, you got 3 shirts around him. Why isn't anyone cutting to the back door for a quick layup?
Barthélemy to Scott and Giovanni, and Johnson fouled him. It's not a shooting foul. Fouled him before. So I see Tommy huffing and puffing there, which he hasn't played a lot of minutes, but he still looks gassed.
I mean, you also just have to remember who you're going up against. You're going up against some of the better, guys that play your position in the entire country, and they don't stop. Yeah. That's the one thing that you kind of realize about this team. It doesn't matter who's on the floor or who isn't. These guys just do not stop running. They don't stop moving. They got some of the best trainers in the country available to them to keep their, endurance up. As does Ridley College, though. Make no mistake about it. They're a very, very well-off, well-to-do school or academic academy, if you will. But that's the kind of fight you're going to be in for with AI every time.
And Johnson blocks that. You know what? Keyshawn's looking for a foul. He got all ball, Key.
That was all ball. Excellent block there. It's not his fault that he's bigger and stronger.
So, one thing I think Johnson noticed was that he was determined to be like, look, I'm taking this. I'm not dishing this. I'm not kicking this out. I'm taking this to the basket.
Well, it looks like they've added time back on for some reason.
I wasn't looking at the clock.
Was it I think it was the shot clock that went out.
It did. On the
So
block.
it's Ridley ball.
Yeah.
I don't know why we have to talk about this. Let's go. Come on. 4 seconds.
So Wharton had that buzzer beater down at TRC the other day. It's the exact same play. And I don't understand. Why is he fouling him? He just grabbed him. He's got 0.5 left, and Keyshawn's fouling him, 40 feet away from the basket.
I have no idea. Maybe there's some secret rule that I don't know about fouling people with less than a second to go that automatically gives you possession. Yeah. I don't know.
Just silly. But Charles Hantamakis is arguing it, and Key's pointing over at him. So I think he may have been instructed to do it, but I don't understand it. Yeah.
Maybe they're arguing why it's a shot. I think that could be it. Maybe they're over the limit, because it doesn't look like they're over the limit.
Is that what it was?
But it was a clear path. It was clear path. That's why they're arguing it. And that's why he got his shots and possession.
Wow. Either way, I mean.
Because it's a delay of game, right? I don't understand that.
And you can see he was trying to get an isolation on Charles Bediako on Kobe Lamb. Good idea. Didn't work.
Yeah.
So either way, at the end of the 3 quarters, Athlete Institute opens up a 14-point lead, 65-41. The wheels fell off a little bit there for Ridley in the third quarter. What do they got to do to get back on track in the fourth?
Well, first of all, they need to start making passes a little bit more cleaner and take better care of the basketball on the offensive end. I mean, anytime that they're shooting the ball with confidence and moving the ball around is when they were taking the lead and they were running with Athlete Institute the entire way. That was a thing. But then when you have, when you also have two.
You're not going to big me up for that catch?
No, that was a great catch. Good job.
Thank
I'm sure all the people at home are fascinated with that great grab you just did. But just kind of getting back to what I was saying, moving forward, AI Prep. This is their game to lose at this point. They've kind of came out there. They've got the deeper bench. They've got the more experienced players. They have the ability to knock down open shots when they need to. This is all going to come down to whether they're going to be able to continue to keep the defensive pressure on Ridley College, because Ridley College has shown now that when you turn up the heat on them defensively, that they're going to make some mistakes that are going to allow you to get some easy buckets. It's also going to have a lot to do with whether Bediako can stay out of foul trouble. If Jaden Bediako can stay out of foul trouble and help lock down that paint, something that they weren't able to do very well near the end there when Jaden got off the floor, then, Ridley College is going to give themselves a chance to make a game of this.
So on the floor for Ridley, Noah Wharton, Anthony Dowdu, Jaden Bediako, Tommy Johnson, and Alex Root. For AI, Keyshawn Bartholomew, Sam Routens, Addison Patterson, Giovanni Scott, and Kobe Lamb. As Root, it looks like that went off Patterson's foot out of bounds, so it's going to be Ridley ball.
Not gonna lie, if I was Root, I would have just pulled the trigger. Get things set.
Johnson. Dowdu couldn't get a handle on it. I think that shot was for him. Inside, Bediako trying to back down Scott. There's that battle again between those two.
Yep, and you can see Bediako. That's just something he's eventually just going to get better and better at. But, once again, Giovanni Scott, he's an incredibly strong kid. Like, the way that he plays.
Root air ball. Johnson spotted it, and he's fouled by Scott. Johnson will go to the line and shoot 2 free throws.
Root picking, fortunately, the wrong time there. But that was a perfect pass. That's what that was. You see Scott picking up another foul.
Are you related?
As you can see now, Hendricks coming in for Scott.
Johnson, got him listed at 6'7". Class of 2020.
See a nice little form there, and a nice flick of the wrist. And it's now a 12-point game. I mean, they were down by as much as 16. So we've chipped away into this a little bit, but the defense is going to be so crucial moving forward here, Chris.
Routens didn't even think about it. Short that time. Wharton. Dowdu. Johnson from the free throw line. Too strong rebound. Patterson. AI races up the floor. Patterson almost had his pocket picked by Wharton. Settles, will regroup.
You can see he's definitely going to attack now. Gets the slower defender. Nice kick out though, wide open. Once again, you cannot let these guys get open like that. Easy penetration. AI knocks it down. Clean shot.
You see the second that left Bartholomew's hand, it was going in. Patterson tiptoes the line, stays in. Nice play. Keyshawn. Kobe Lamb for 3. Kobe finally gets off the snide.
And we're starting to see it now over and over again. The lack of closeouts on the defensive end. And AI now just starting to get into rhythm.
Wharton. Root. Johnson has that knocked away. The coach was yelling to give it to him. He gave it to him, and then Johnson turned it over.
Yep.
And then an unnecessary foul.
That's definitely a frustration foul there on Johnson. As you could see, once again, this has just been kind of the story right now for Ridley is when things are getting a little bit tough, the breakdown in playmaking ability and communication. I mean, this is a team that plays best running, as we can see that right now at this point. They're best at tough, hard-nosed half-court defense and getting out and running, a lot like AI in that sense.
Hendricks loses a handle on it. Upshot races down the floor. Nice finish.
That was a good finish there. Thought about kicking it out to Root, then recognized who he had on him. Takes the contact. Excellent finish with the left hand. Not many guards in this league can finish like that.
Sam Routens over to Patterson. Dort. Routens for 3. Sam too strong. Rebound Charles Bediako.
That's a big board for them. Every board they get at this point is going to be huge for them. They need to make sure that they're limiting those second chance opportunities. No open threes and no offensive boards. That's going to be your key to success right now.
Charles, turnaround. Johnson fighting for it. Outmuscles Hendricks. Nice play, Tommy Johnson.
And Johnson, it's a game of runs, game of momentum. Johnson doing everything he needed to do there, stepping up for his team and knocking down a much-needed shot inside the paint. Charles Bediako earlier, you'd like to see him get his feet set a little bit quicker before taking that shot. That's one thing I've noticed with a lot of the bigs here with Ridley College. The feet aren't necessarily set. You see the form, you see the chest, and you love that. But, you know, anytime you're shooting off balance like that, especially at this age, it's just not a confident shot.
Worked out well on that occasion, but that's the exception. Patterson for Routens. Slashes through, finds Dort. Shot clock winding down. Dort blocked by Charles Bediaku. Wow.
Bediaku will have none of it. Bediaku said, "I will not be on your poster. No, thank you."
And you can see you can see Dort's eyes, like, oh,
yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. One way, it was not going to end well for somebody.
Yeah. and on the rare occasion, Dort's on the wrong end of it.
That's right.
So, you know what's funny? You know, next year when Dort's playing in the NCAA tournament and tearing up the Pac-12 for Arizona State, Charles Bediaku is going to be sitting on his couch going,
"I blocked that guy." Yeah. He'll pull up the YouTube clips for the friends and family.
Check that out.
Oh, man.
Well, you know that's going to be the opening on his mixtape next year.
Oh, yeah.
That's play number
or it
one.
might be the finale, too.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. We're having too much fun with this. There, that I can go on the mixtape, too.
Yeah. Charles Bediaku getting it done on the offensive end, too.
Here we go. 12-point game now.
Routens for three. Sam cooled off.
That's a big factor as to why Ridley's kind of creeping up now.
Upshaw, ugly shot. Don't like that shot one bit.
We're looking for the foul, but you can't go fishing for fouls like that.
Barthélemy. Keyshawn Barthélemy to two.
And that's what happens. That is a poor decision. When you go fishing for fouls like that, the basketball gods do not appreciate that. Hence the transition three.
Was it a 2 or 3? I think his foot might have been on the line.
Clearly it was then.
Yeah.
Everybody at home has practically replay at their own hands, so they can go check for themselves.
Upshaw to Bailey. But the shot clock ran out. Unfortunate.
Now, I may sound like a homer right now for Ridley by going, but I'm just a fan of good basketball, and that looked clean right up until the end. Just running out of time here. But that is a testament right now to the pressure defense in which AI Prep is putting on Ridley College right now. The Bears, they have done an excellent job in this second half of limiting, clean passing lanes, open looks from beyond the arc. Really, the only thing that they've kind of let Ridley get away with has been offensive putbacks. That's literally just kind of been it. Other than that, Ridley has had to work hard for every bucket they've gotten.
Ben Hendricks with the throwdown. Big man's been quiet since the first quarter.
Well, he's going to have his hands full now with Bediaku, with Jaden Bediaku, that is.
Upshaw, wide open look. Airballs it. Bailey picks that up, the loose ball. Wharton for three. Finally, Noah Wharton gets one to go.
Huge shot for Wharton there. Lead now down to 13.
Dort lost the handle on it, picked it up, gets it to go.
Yeah, no, that was Wharton there, Upshaw was looking for a travel there, but it definitely wasn't.
So Ridley's turned into the Golden State Warriors in the second half, where the second they get the ball, it doesn't matter where they are, it's going up for three.
Oh, what a pass there by Patterson.
Hendricks not quite aware of it.
Yeah, was not, didn't see it in time, but you see Patterson staring him down.
Yeah.
He's like, come on,
He's
man.
like, I got that in my game, man. You better finish that.
Yep, you got to see that coming. Hey, it's tough sometimes, man. When these passes come zipping in 2 feet in front of you, I don't care who you are. There's a big throwdown by Bediaku.
77-62. Timeout on the floor, AI.
A good timeout. Right time to call it. Turnover followed up by a dunk on what definitely looked like a rather sleeping AI Bears offense there on that one. And once again, Ridley College, I mean, the shot selection has been questionable at times, but the effort is not.
That look from Patterson there, you see it in several different sports. I'll see a guy like Tom Brady stare down his receiver after being like, hey, I can make that throw. We're talking
about AI now, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about AI now. Yeah.
And then even in hockey, guys like Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews staring down their teammates saying, hey, man, I can make that play.
Well, regardless, 13-point game now, 4:15 to go. We've got, once again, AI prep, this really just kind of comes down to how intense do they want to be on defense, and that will probably determine the final score in this game, barring any major shooting streak that comes from Ridley College in this one.
77-64, retro night at the Athlete Institute in Mono, Ontario.
Didn't realize Drake was retro.
That's what I was just thinking. That's why I said retro night, yeah.
Are we getting that old now?
Yeah.
Are we that old now? Where the music that our kids listen to are throwbacks?
Yeah. Dort throws that, some miscommunication. Scott wasn't looking for it.
This is the thing that always drives me crazy every time I see, prep basketball and high level AAU basketball. The talent is unbelievable, but at the end of the day, they're still high school kids, and you still see some of this stuff occasionally where guys are just completely missing a play. It just reminds you of, oh yeah, that's right. These guys are they're not pro athletes yet. They're 14 to 18 years old. Blows the mind.
Wharton for three, has that blocked by Barthélemy. And Upshaw sneaks around back and takes that.
And the refs are definitely letting them play. Why you dribble back into that trap, I don't understand.
Patterson tried to rip the ball out of Upshaw's hands.
I don't know what's going on with him today, because I've seen a lot of questionable decisions from Upshaw that I'm not used to seeing. Even that right there. You have to be aware with who's guarding you. That's Giovanni Scott and Addison Patterson, two guys standing 6'7", ridiculous wingspans. And what are you going to do? You're going to try and dribble in between them and sit in the corner? Nah, man, you got to pass that off and keep it moving.
Charles Bediako, rebound Patterson.
See, I'm not mad at that shot if he properly sets up, shoots it with confidence.
Ooh. Scott leaves it for Hendricks. Scott for three in the corner.
Great ball movement.
Oh! Don't. I would have sprinted out of the gym if that went down. The headset, I would have just tossed it and sprinted out of the gym. Dort looking up at me, being sorry, man.
He's beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. He just doesn't know what to do right now. That could have been it right there. That could have been the game.
Yeah.
That could have been the game.
Pull the plugs. Let's go home.
Yeah. But it isn't.
Wow. Well, hey, you said they're high school kids, not quite pros yet, and then there's the other side of it where you're like, are you sure they're not quite pros yet?
Yeah, and then you are sure because he missed.
Yeah, true, yeah. Wharton from the baseline. Scott.
That's a tough shot.
Out rebounds Jaden Bediako. Patterson. Scott for three. Rebound Charles. Upshaw from the free throw line, spots up, nice jumper. Upshaw, 77-66. Ridley not done yet.
Yeah, it's crazy to believe when you think about it. It's an 11-point game. What is that? Three possessions, 4 possessions?
Dort for three. Misses Hendricks, fighting for it. Upshaw comes up with the loose ball. And Dort with the steal, and now here we go, 4-on-1. Lugens Dort didn't miss that time.
Yeah, Bediako sitting there going, I gambled the first time. I'm not gambling again.
So Dort hopping, came up a little ginger on that after he landed.
And so is Barthélemy, actually. They're both limping right now.
Oh, foul on the floor. I missed who was that on. Ben Hendricks. That's underneath the basket, way away from the ball.
And Dort's going to go sit down now.
Sam Routon's back in. Wharton looking for somebody. Dowdu. Terrible pass. Threw that in between 3 white jerseys. But worked out all right.
Yeah, they got it back. Definitely looked like they were trying to, as there's going to be a timeout. There looked like, for Ridley College, it looked like he was trying to get it inside, but the problem is that, sometimes when you make it so obvious on these plays, it's easy for guys to just jump the passing lane. You know, and this is what it comes down to, the importance of memorizing your plays, knowing what's being called, being aware of it to the point where you're not even making it look where you're going to be passing it. So, you know, that's something that Ridley College is definitely going to have to keep working on moving forward.
79-68, 150 to go. Ridley, I mean, they've got an opportunity here, but it's tough to say, but they have to be perfect here for this next minute 50.
I think that's easy to say. Yeah, I think you're completely right. They have to play perfect basketball from this point forward. They have to make sure that AI at the most maybe gets another 2 buckets, and then they have to run the floor. They've got to run the floor and create about 3 or 4 turnovers, give themselves a real chance, knock down an outside shot here or there, get an and one. There's a lot of things that have to go right for them right now at this point for them to pull out what may be, you know, one of the bigger upsets of the OSBA season. And I only say upset now based off of the fact that it's 4-4, you're down by 11 against a team that's going to be looking to try and contend for the title.
So on the floor right now, AI, Routens, Keyshawn Barthélemy, Patterson, Hendricks, Scott. For Ridley, Jaden Bediaku, Bailey, Upshaw, Wharton, and Dowdu trying to press, creating a steal. Sam Routens coughs it up. There you go.
That's what you need.
2-on-1 break. Couldn't capitalize on that. Upshaw for 3 short. Jaden Bediaku with the dunk.
There's the big dunk. Down by a 3-possession game now.
79-70. Ridley going to press again. Don't take that shot, Javon. And then another back-to-back turnovers. Exactly what Coach Upshaw drew up for Ridley.
You see they got like a 2-1-1-1 press going on here, and there's a foul. And now they're going to go to the line for 2. A very interesting style of press we saw there. You got 3 guys that are kind of working around in a triangle tandem while you've got the 2 bigs sitting back here looking to try and hawk anything that comes their way after the press has been broken. Very interesting strategy there by Coach Upshaw.
So huge free throws here for Upshaw. The clock stopped, which is exactly what they need. 1:15. Opportunity to get points. There it is.
There's Upshaw. You know, the guy who's went coldest out of everybody, taking those shots in the 3rd and late 4th quarter. I'm sure he wants these more than anyone.
Misses on the 2nd. Hendricks with the rebound. Barthélemy. It's got Patterson. Spots up. I'm not a fan of that. Why not hold it?
I don't understand why
Let's
you're
use
taking
clock.
That
Upshaw,
shot.
Dowdu. They got to hurry up here.
Give them a second. See what they can create.
Wharton drives. Floater. Can't get it to go. Rebound.
That's a tough one.
Giovanni Scott. And there's the break. Ben Hendricks with
And
the exclamation points.
And there was an effort. They not without an effort, not without a chance, but I think that one's going to do it.
10-point lead, 44 seconds to go. Ben Hendricks looks like he's finished it off for the Athlete Institute.
It was a good win by the Bears. They came up against a team that, you know, was really pushed them. You know, not many teams in this league, and this is why, you know, I'm so high on Ridley College. You know, a lot of people ask me why I talk so much about a team that's only sitting at 500, about to go sub 500. It's because of the way that they play basketball, Chris. These guys, they're down by 35 at one point, and they've came back to make it a 10-point game. They don't have any quit. They have the skills and they have the body types to be able to be competitive with just about anybody in this league. And really for them, it's just came down to a factor of just trying to get it all together and trying to get some of these bad spurts out of their game where, you know, guys are taking unnecessary shots or shooting off balance or, you know, giving away obvious plays or obvious passes and turning over the ball consistently. You know, when they do that, obviously, yes, they look like a 500 team. But when they don't, they look like somebody who could go to the playoffs and make noise. So it's a frustrating combination of the two, and it's something that they're going to need to be able to continue to work out. But the good news is that a lot of their players are going to be sticking around for yet another year after this. So that's why, you know, they're going to be one of the more deadlier teams to watch as the OSBAs continue.
So 10-point lead, 44 seconds to go. Got to get something going quick here. Upshot chucks that up. Oh, and it goes in. Now they'll press. They got a foul. You want to foul Hendricks. Great ball moving by AI. Scott, yeah, don't take that shot, Giovanni. There
it
you
is.
go.
Yeah, they ate up a lot of minutes there, or excuse me, seconds. That was a very impressive display of passing by AI Prep, and that's the reason why they're always challenging for an OSBA title.
28.6 to go. Ridley gets a timeout. So DJ Phenomenal went back to the retro with the Rob Basin Easy Rock there.
That's right.
I have that on vinyl at home, original pressing.
That's impressive.
You know, the funny thing is I've actually booked a bunch of shows for Rob Bass over my careers, and absolutely horrible to work with.
Really?
Yeah, and that's a guy that I grew up with when I was a kid, love his music, and then you do business with the guy, and you're like, it kind of ruins your enjoyment of their music.
Yeah, I believe it, man. I mean, I feel the same way with athletes. When you meet certain athletes, you meet certain players, and when you realize that, even if you catch them on a bad day and maybe you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but, nothing will ever replace that crappy experience that you might have with them. So,
no doubt.
You look at them and you see the success that some of them have, and it's like you're not hating on them or anything. It's just more like, you just wish you could be, a bit of a nicer person considering the success that they enjoy,
You ever have any bad experiences with athletes when you were a kid?
Let me see. No, I may have given one. God rest his soul, Roy Halladay. When he first came up with the Blue Jays back in 1998, I was, looking for autographs like any other kid at my age. And then I went and got an autograph, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Roy Halladay." And I go, "Oh, I don't know who that is."
Oh.
And then I walked away. But I still have his autograph. Couldn't believe it. It's a shame. I never got an opportunity to tell him that story.
I met, I played goalie as a kid, and Patrick Waugh, the Hall of Fame goalie of the Montreal Canadiens, was signing autographs at Warden Woods Mall. Lined up for 5.5 hours. My stomach was touching the rope, and I was the next one in line, and he said, I'm done with the autographs.
Oh,
5.5 hours. Now, I'm not bashing Waugh. He was only supposed to be there for 90 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And stayed for 5.5 hours.
That's incredible.
So the guy's hand was about to fall off,
I
and
was
I think
gonna
he
say.
said, no mas, I'm done.
Fair enough.
But, me as a kid standing there, my
can
gut
imagine
touching the rope. Yeah.
How crushing that was. There's another foul.
I've been in therapy for years since to try and get over it. 81-74.
And Dort's going to go to the line here to stack his stats a little bit. It's just one of those days.
There it is. Lugens out of Montreal. I made an appearance last night on 97.7 ESPN Radio in Louisiana, talking Louisiana Tech basketball, and had the chance to talk about some of the top Canadians, and obviously chatted Lugens Dort, Ignas Brzdeikis, and, of course, RJ Barrett.
Yep. You want to talk about a guy who can do just about everything. I mean, Barrett, it's incredible. There's Scott over to Hendricks. Big throw down there. He gets another exclamation point. Gets two.
Alex Root for three. Looks
that.
good. No, air ball.
I feel for Root because I'm sorry. I'm going to have to say this one more time. And you know what? This is going to be on him for something to move forward with. When you knock down a shot, when you've knocked down the first shot that you've taken in the game, you have to be a little bit more vocal and let guys know, hey, I'm out here, I'm moving around, because it just seemed like either he was too timid to ask for the ball or he was finding himself in spots where he just wasn't going to get a clean shot off. You as a shooter have to make sure that you're doing nothing but moving around and constantly trying to get your open looks. And to be honest, the sooner that he's going to grow into his game and realize what he is his life's going to be so much easier as a player out there, and there's going to be a whole lot less anxiety and nerves or any of that kind of stuff when he's out there actually playing.
Upshaw. Dort knocks that out of bounds. It's going to be Ridley ball.
3-and-D, baby. 3-and-D. That's all you need.
Dowdu. Nice.
And give Ridley this.
Hey. See, I don't like that from Upshaw.
I was going to say, it doesn't make any – there's no point at this point. It's, 2 seconds left in the game, but
Patterson
regardless,
is what it is. So Athlete Institute comes out with an 87-77 win. Player of the game, Ryan?
Player of the game for this one, I'm going to give it to, let's give it to Sammy because of that initial three-point shot.
That really kind of opened
really
the
got
lead,
going.
settled
Yeah.
things down.
Yeah, that really kind of opened it up. That was the kind of TSN turning point, if you will. Giovanni Scott as well, I think he deserves a little bit of praise for the work that he was doing in the post. Had his hands full the whole night, but was still able to eat, if you will, for the Ridley College Tigers. I'm going to go with Malcolm Bailey because, he was all over the place. Tons of rebounds, tons of putbacks, showed off the mid-range game a little bit. And for him, it's just going to be another step evolving and staying active on the glass. And that's going to be his bread and butter. That's what's going to get him a scholarship moving forward.
So thanks for joining us on the OSBA Games of the Week. When's the next game? Any idea?
Next game is going to be February 2nd, I believe. February 2nd or 1st.
It's February 1st, a Thursday, yeah.
No, we got a lot of games actually scheduled for the next. There's going to be one. There's going to be almost two almost every single week. We're making up for lost time from the fact that we only had 2 games in January.
I'm Chris McKee with Ryan Greco. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.